This was an unforced error by Jaxson Dart. Again, Donald Trump is historically unpopular. You are the quarterback of the New York Giants. What was the point? What is the upside in appearing at this rally? Now, he has a right to support whoever he wants, but Abdul Carter has a right to criticize his support of that.
When the president or when a regime seems to continuously empower or invoke things that hurt a certain community, I think this is why you now have this conversation. And when you are supporting someone who approached players the way that this president did during Colin Kaepernick's protest and said some of those things, there are going to be some feelings in certain communities and in the Black community and amongst some of the Black players as well. When you do support that politician or the president, you have to be aware of that.
You know what I find so ironic about Jemele Hill, or as those who are sitting next to her prefer to call her, Smelly Jemele? You know what I find so ironic about Smelly? On social media, Jemele Hill acts like she is taking a stand against the white man. I'm an oppressed minority. I'm a dual victim of mythical racism and fake misogyny. I can't find a full-time job in the mainstream media because I belong to multiple marginalized groups. When did women in America become a marginalized group? There are more women than men in America. Someone please explain to me how a majority of the population can be classified as a minority. The reason Jemele Hill can't find a job in the mainstream media is because every opportunity that she has been given, and believe me, Smelly Jemele has been given multiple opportunities, and every one of these opportunities has the same end result: huge, embarrassing failure. Jemele Hill is all about speaking out against white people on social media until she goes to the beautician. Once she sees her stylist, she says, "Make me blonde like those white girls." Right now, the woke media is in the midst of another emotional meltdown. Last week, New York Giants quarterback Jaxson Dart, he was charged with violating the woke commandments. Now, he was not convicted of violating the first woke commandment, which is thou shalt not commit mythical racism. He wasn't charged with refusing to taste the rainbow. The diversity deputies, they arrested Jaxson Dart because he had the audacity to publicly show his support for Orange Man Bad. Watch it for yourself.
I'm honored, I'm pleasured to introduce the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, President Donald J. Trump.
Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Now, this would have been a non-story. We would not be sitting here talking about this a week later if Jaxson Dart's teammate Abdul Carter controlled his emotions and handled this situation like a man. Obviously, Jaxson Dart is receiving most of the criticism from the wanker spankers in the media. Crying Ryan Clark, the lead pastor at Woke United Methodist, he has spent the past week delivering blistering sermons about the sins of Jaxson Dart. How can you support a man who oppresses minorities? Why are you supporting a man who is putting the lives of Iranian children at risk? Oh, the children! It's all about the children! The truth is, Jaxson Dart did not start this flaming ass fire. This overreaction, it was started because Abdul Carter refused to handle this situation like a man. If I have a problem with one of my friends, if they said something that pissed me off, if we agreed to meet to play golf or meet for lunch and they disrespected my time by showing up 30, 45 minutes late, I'm not gonna call their wives and snitch on them. Can you talk to your husband for me? He's being a real meanie. He's being a butthole. For starters, Uncle KC does not say butt. He refers to the gluteus by its proper name, which is ass. If I have a problem with my friend, I'm not getting his wife involved. I'm not calling his mother. That's what women do. I'm going to approach him and tell him to his face. But instead of doing that with Jaxson Dart, instead of approaching him in the locker room, instead of texting or calling Jaxson Dart and explaining why he had a problem with Jaxson Dart introducing the Trumper, Abdul Carter gets on social media and he invites his pretend friends in the media to attack his quarterback. Wednesday, the New York Giants, they were supposed to be practicing. Unfortunately, John Harbaugh couldn't practice. He had to waste valuable time catering to the feelings of emotional grown men. Jaxson Dart addressed the team on Wednesday, and to his credit, the kid refused to apologize. He refused to atone for his mythical sins. He refused to borrow a set of knee pads from Colin Kaepernick to beg forgiveness for hurting feelings. One of the primary objectives of this meeting, it was wasting time teaching emotional grown men something that they should have learned as young boys. If you have a problem with a teammate, if you have a problem with a coach, you don't run to the media. You don't run to social media. You don't call your girlfriend in the WNBA and ask her to publicly defend your honor. Please, baby, I need you to defend me. Also, can I borrow your bottle of Just for Men? Jaxson Dart addressed the team and said, "We need to keep problems in-house." Unfortunately, the one teammate who needed to hear this the most, Abdul Carter, he wasn't at the meeting. Why? Abdul Carter claimed to have a religious obligation. Now, supposedly, Jaxson Dart spoke with Abdul Carter and they worked out their differences. But this is why I have been saying for years, politics have no place in sports. And the woke fungus damn sure has no place in sports. Whether you support Don Trump or whether you are a proud member of the Party of the Donkey, as the quarterback of my team, I don't care. To be honest with you, I don't want to know. Tyler Shuck is proud to be a doofus Democrat. Hell, he probably spends some of his free time at the stable scooping up donkey turds. But if he leads my Saints to the playoffs, if he wins a Super Bowl in New Orleans, I don't care who Tyler Shuck supports. You see, the extent of our relationship is you win football games. That's it. I don't need to know your political beliefs, your political affiliations. Hell, I don't want to know. Because once you involve yourself politically, once you allow yourself to be infected with the disease of politics, it has the potential to divide the fan base. More than likely, and I don't care who you're playing for, more than likely, half the team's fans are Republicans and the other half are applying for membership to Club Doofus. But there is a huge difference between Republican athletes and those riding the donkey. And the difference is the media. How many of you guys knew about Tyler Shuck being a Democrat? My guess is none of you, because when Tyler Shuck gets political, there is no reaction from the media. Hell, there has been minimal reaction this week from the media to Josh Jacobs. Earlier this week, Packers running back Josh Jacobs, he was arrested. He was charged with 4 misdemeanors related to domestic abuse. He was also charged with felony strangulation. The media outrage with Josh Jacobs has been minimal. Why? because they have been wasting all of their time pretending to be outraged with Jaxson Dart. Josh Jacobs allegedly beat his girlfriend. Jaxson Dart spent a few seconds introducing Donald Trump. One is a very real and serious crime. The other is a mythical violation of the woke commandments. But in the eyes of the media, I guess Jaxson Dart is the real sinner. Let me show you the blatant hypocrisy that exists in the media. The other day, Dan Le Batard, he was overly emotional as he talked about the sins of Jaxson Dart. Watch it for yourself.
Do you not believe that the New York media has a responsibility to ask difficult questions of Jaxson Dart? Let us hear what you believe.
Right.
Like if you want to be the quarterback who introduces Trump during this time, expound on your thoughts. I want him put in a position to sound educated or uneducated with the decision that he just made. He deserves to be made uncomfortable if he's going to support this particular presidency during a deeply uncomfortable time. How do you feel about Donald Trump going after an attack on freedom and democracy?
Back in 2014, while he was still in the prime of his NBA career, Chris Paul introduced Barack Obama at an event. Now, Chris Paul introducing Barry, it received minimal coverage. There was no backlash from teammates. There was no overreaction from the media. There was damn sure no emotional meltdown from Dan Le Batard. It sounds like Dan Le Batard wants Jaxson Dart to participate in some kind of political debate. Defend your beliefs, peasant. How do you feel about the Trumper threatening our democracy? You owe me an explanation. I'm important. I'm Dan Le Batard. I drive a tricycle. Jaxson Dart is not a political pundit. He's the quarterback for an NFL team. No one was demanding that Chris Paul defend his beliefs. No one was demanding that Chris Paul explain his support for Barry. But when Jaxson Dart spends a few seconds introducing Donald Trump, Dan Le Batard wants him to explain himself. Again, this is why politics has no place in sports. I think this is the main reason that ESPN has distanced themselves from politics. To my knowledge, ESPN has barely covered this Jaxson Dart story. 5 or 6 years ago, this would have been headline news for weeks at the worldwide leader in woke. But after years of their ratings circling the pooper, and mainly after the success of Pat McAfee, I think ESPN has finally realized that politics divides their audience, and division is never good for business. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.